Super Black is a really exciting exhibition, a one of its kind in Colchester. I've lived in Colchester for 30 years and I've never seen anything like it. It's brought so many elements of the community together, and we're from all over the place, so we're, Caribbean, American, Kenyan, there's so many of us and we all bring a different viewpoint.
I didn't have to define myself when I was in Kenya.
No.
Yeah, I was always Rachel, so I didn't know that I was black until now I've been given a label. So I have to now start defining myself. How do people look at me? So I have to always explain.
But it's what people's perceptions of being black are. Also, other blacks against other blacks, their perceptions of whether or not you're black enough. When you get it from people that you're looking at, that are the same colour as yourself, and they're saying that to you, you kind of look at that and thinking, well, aren't we all kind of in this together? So why is it that, you're blacker than I am, and we're not even talking skin tone, we're talking attitudes or music? Shouldn't I be allowed to live my life the way that I choose? Why should I now have to conform to your idea of what's black? We were invited to the Arts Council collection to see some of the pieces there before they were wrapped up. And again, it just brings, each time we saw the pieces, it just brought new perspectives to the pieces and to the selection and what it could mean to the community.
I can only imagine our audiences will be impressed with this image. What I feel is the popularity of these two images, and they're so recognizable, it will draw people in. And as it does, they get to then observe the silhouettes of all these other interesting characters, such as here we've got Marcus Garvey in a black and white chalk, and the thought of how we need to more or less make people more aware of Marcus Garvey's influence in black history.
I would say it's quite powerful. And when I look at it, it just brings out memory. It shouts out to me. It speaks to me. Because I have gone through this. When I was 20, I was baptized. And I went through the emotion. It was a new life. It was beginning for me. And I can remember it vividly. And this just brings those emotions of how I felt.
And funerals seemed more morbid. Women would be wailing, and it was very emotional, and they brought that to, the graveside. But now, funerals now are like weddings. and also with Caribbean funerals, you don't have to be invited. You just, if you know the person, or if it's your friend's dad, you go out of respect.
When I look at this picture, it brings two people together, and people who are supporting you, the community. I come from a community where marriage is not just the two of you. Marriage is about the whole community. You affect everybody else, your decisions, the children you bring in. So it's the village. It's the people.
Who raises a child.
Who raises that child. So they walk along with you.
But that's why all these three things are so, because they're so steeped in tradition, but also how the traditions have changed, but how some of the things are different, because we are different people and different cultures, and we celebrate differently, but essentially it's still the same.
I think it will take the breath away. As we just stood here and that little conversation we just had about these three images here, I can only imagine the conversations that other people will be able to have.
From where all of our previous discussions, it's just something that everybody can relate to. And also evoking some sort of personal memory, something that they can relate to within the art, something, there are many people that were born around the time of Martin Luther and Malcolm X who will remember those times in a completely different way from the rest of us who've only just read about it.
For me, making new work for this exhibition is just magnificent. The fact that my work's going to be sitting alongside all of these great works. So it's scary for me and super exciting.
I hope they enjoy it, but mostly I hope that it makes the people look at themselves and look at the way they've reacted to people, new people that maybe have been neighbours and for years they've maybe not talked to them, and suddenly now there's a commonality. When you look at these photos, baptism, marriage, death, these are all commonalities. These are all things that people can relate to. When you look at all the different knickknacks and things like that, again, these are all things that people can relate to. But also for them to be able to understand or have a better understanding of what it is to be black in Britain and their role in it also. So, you know, I'm just hoping that it just becomes cohesive and brings people together.